Your skin is losing collagen right now. Not slowly, not eventually, but right this moment as you're watching this video. According to research published in the Journal of Clinical and Aesthetic Dermatology, adults over 50 lose approximately 1% of their remaining collagen every single year. That means if you're 65, you've already lost about 15% of the collagen you had at age 50. And here's what almost nobody tells you. Those collagen powders filling your supplement cabinet may not be giving you what you think they're giving you. I'm Dr. Michael Kent, and today I'm going to show you 3 whole food sources of collagen that research suggests may be absorbed and utilized differently than isolated supplements. These aren't exotic, they're not expensive, but they are dramatically underused. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how to prepare them, when to avoid them, and why they might change how you think about supporting your connective tissue as you age. Let's talk about what actually works. Janet Russo, 72, notices her skin has become noticeably thinner over the past decade. Bruises appear with the slightest bump. Her knees feel less cushioned when she walks her daily route through the neighborhood. Her doctor mentions this is normal aging, which it is, but Janet wonders if nutrition can actually do anything. She's seen the collagen powder advertisements. She's skeptical. She's also on a blood thinner and takes medication for her thyroid. This scenario reflects the reality for millions of older adults. Collagen loss isn't just cosmetic. It affects joint cushioning, skin integrity, wound healing, and even digestive tract structure. The collagen supplement industry is worth billions. But here's what research tells us. Whole food sources of collagen come packaged with cofactors, minerals, and amino acid ratios that isolated peptides simply don't replicate. That doesn't mean supplements are useless, but it does mean we may be overlooking something our grandparents understood instinctively. Here's what happens when collagen declines without nutritional support. According to findings in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, reduced collagen synthesis is associated with delayed wound healing, increased joint discomfort, and accelerated skin thinning in older populations. Some people experience more brittle nails. Others notice their hair becomes finer. Tendons and ligaments may lose some of their resilience, which can contribute to injury risk. The consequences aren't immediate or dramatic, but they accumulate quietly over years. And here's the gap that concerns me most. While research on collagen-rich foods exists, it's rarely communicated in practical terms that people can actually use. Most discussions focus on supplements because they're easier to standardize and study. But food-based collagen has been consumed for thousands of years across virtually every traditional culture on Earth, and dismissing that without investigation seems short-sighted. But here's the surprising part. Research published in Nutrients suggests that dietary collagen, particularly when consumed with vitamin C and adequate protein, may support the body's own collagen production processes. The amino acids glycine and proline, abundant in collagen-rich foods, are considered conditionally essential in older adults, meaning your body may not produce enough under certain conditions. When you consume whole food collagen sources, you're not just getting fragmented peptides. You're getting a complete amino acid profile, often with minerals like calcium and phosphorus, and in some cases, compounds like glucosamine that appear naturally in connective tissue. This is what I call nutritional context, and it may matter more than we currently understand. The 3 foods I'm about to show you aren't magic. They won't reverse aging, but they may provide your body with raw materials it can actually use, and they cost a fraction of what most people spend on monthly supplement subscriptions. Let's start with something you might actually enjoy eating: oxtail. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Oxtail sounds unusual. It sounds old-fashioned. But before you skip past this, understand what oxtail actually is. It's the tail of cattle, composed primarily of bones surrounded by connective tissue, small amounts of muscle, and a modest amount of fat. That connective tissue is nearly pure collagen. When you cook oxtail properly, that collagen breaks down into gelatin, which is simply hydrolyzed collagen in a form your digestive system can process. According to research in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry, gelatin contains high concentrations of glycine and proline, amino acids that may support skin elasticity and joint comfort when consumed regularly. What makes oxtail particularly valuable for older adults is its rich mineral content. The bones release calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus during slow cooking, creating a nutrient-dense broth that's gentle on sensitive digestive systems. A typical 3-ounce serving of cooked oxtail provides approximately 18 grams of protein, most of it collagen-derived, along with iron and B vitamins. Now, preparation matters enormously here, so let me walk you through this step by step. You'll want to start with about 2 to 3 pounds of oxtail pieces, which you can find at most butcher shops or international grocery stores. They're usually quite affordable, often less expensive than premium cuts of beef. Begin by rinsing the pieces under cold water, then pat them dry with paper towels. This is important if you want to develop good flavor. Heat a heavy bottom pot or Dutch oven over medium-high heat with a small amount of oil. Brown the oxtail pieces on all sides. You're not cooking them through, just creating a flavorful exterior. This should take about 8 to 10 minutes total. Remove the oxtail and set it aside. In that same pot, add diced onion, carrots, and celery, what's called a mirepoix in French cooking. Let those vegetables soften for about 5 minutes. Then return the oxtail to the pot and add enough liquid to cover everything. You can use water, but I recommend half water and half low-sodium broth for better flavor. Add a bay leaf, some black peppercorns, and a splash of apple cider vinegar. That vinegar is not for taste. It helps extract minerals from the bones. Bring everything to a gentle simmer, then reduce the heat to the lowest setting. Cover the pot and let it cook for 3 to 4 hours, or until the meat is falling off the bone tender. If you have a slow cooker, you can do this on low for 6 to 8 hours. If you have a pressure cooker, 45 minutes on high pressure will work, though the flavor may be less developed. When it's done, the broth should be rich and slightly thick. As it cools, it will likely gel completely, which is exactly what you want. That gel is pure collagen. You can eat the meat directly, use it in soups or stews, or shred it for tacos or grain bowls. The bones should be discarded, but save that broth. It's extraordinarily nourishing. This is where oxtail isn't the same for everyone. If you take anticoagulant medications like warfarin, be aware that foods high in vitamin K can interact with your medication. While oxtail itself is low in vitamin K, if you're adding vegetables like kale or spinach to your preparation, discuss this with your doctor or pharmacist first. Oxtail is also relatively high in purines, which break down into uric acid. If you have gout or elevated uric acid levels, consume this food in moderation and monitor your symptoms. For individuals with kidney disease, the phosphorus content in bone-cooked dishes may be a concern. Check with your nephrologist before adding this to your regular diet. And finally, oxtail does contain saturated fat, though less than many people assume. If you're managing cholesterol levels, skim the fat from the surface of the cooled broth before reheating. This information is to help you make informed decisions with your healthcare provider. The second food-based collagen source is one you've probably heard of but may not have made correctly: traditional bone broth. And I'm not talking about the box stock you buy at the grocery store. Real bone broth is something entirely different. According to a study published in Food and Function, bone broth made from collagen-rich bones and joints contains significant amounts of gelatin, amino acids, and bioavailable minerals. The key phrase there is collagen-rich bones and joints. You can't make true bone broth from chicken breasts or lean cuts of meat. You need bones with connective tissue still attached, and ideally, some cartilaginous joints. Here's how traditional bone broth works from a biochemical perspective. When you simmer bones in acidulated water over extended periods, the collagen in the connective tissue slowly denatures and dissolves into the liquid as gelatin. The cartilage releases glucosamine and chondroitin, compounds often sold as joint supplements. The bones themselves release minerals, particularly calcium and phosphorus, creating a nutrient-dense liquid that has been used for centuries in traditional healing practices. Research in the journal Nutrients found that bone broth contains conditionally essential amino acids that may become limiting in older adults who consume insufficient protein. Glycine in particular is needed for glutathione synthesis, detoxification processes, and collagen production itself. 1 cup of properly made bone broth can provide 3 to 5 grams of protein, primarily as collagen-derived gelatin. Let me show you how to make bone broth the traditional way, because the details matter here. You'll need about 3 to 4 pounds of bones. For the richest collagen content, choose a combination. Beef knuckle bones are excellent because they have lots of cartilage. Marrow bones provide minerals and rich flavor. If you're using chicken, include the feet if you can find them. They're almost pure collagen. Many Asian markets carry them inexpensively. Before you start the long simmer, roast your bones. Spread them on a baking sheet and roast at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 minutes. This develops flavor and helps release nutrients. While the bones roast, prepare your pot. I recommend a large stock pot or slow cooker that can hold at least 6 quarts. Place the roasted bones in the pot and cover them with cold filtered water. Add 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar or the juice of 1 lemon. This acid helps extract minerals and breaks down collagen more efficiently. You can add aromatics if you like. Onion, garlic, celery, bay leaves, peppercorns, but keep it simple. This is about nutrition, not complex flavoring. Bring the pot to a bare simmer. You should see only the smallest bubbles breaking the surface. High heat will create a cloudy, less pleasant tasting broth. For beef bones, simmer for 24 to 48 hours. For chicken bones, 12 to 24 hours is sufficient. During the first hour, skim off any foam that rises to the surface. After that, you can largely leave it alone. Add water as needed to keep the bones covered. When you're finished, strain out all the solids and let the broth cool. As it chills in the refrigerator, properly made bone broth should set into a firm, jiggly gel. That texture is your confirmation that collagen was successfully extracted. If your broth doesn't gel, it's still nutritious, but it means less collagen was released. Possible reasons include not enough connective tissue on the bones, insufficient cooking time, or too high heat. Store your finished broth in the refrigerator for up to 5 days, or freeze it in portions for up to 3 months. Ice cube trays work beautifully for this. Important safety considerations for bone broth. First, if you have histamine intolerance or mast cell activation issues, long-cooked broths can be problematic as histamine levels increase during extended cooking. Start with shorter cooking times and monitor your response. Second, bone broth can be high in sodium if you use salted bones or add salt during cooking. If you're managing hypertension or heart failure, make your broth salt-free and add minimal seasoning only when serving. Third, the glutamate content in bone broth is naturally high, which some sensitive individuals may react to. If you experience headaches or flushing after consuming broth, this may be why. Fourth, individuals with kidney disease should consult their healthcare provider before consuming bone broth regularly, as the phosphorus and potassium content may not be appropriate for all stages of kidney function. And finally, never use bones from unknown sources or conventionally raised animals if you're concerned about environmental contaminants. Choose organic, grass-fed, or pasture-raised bones when possible. The third collagen-rich food is one that often surprises people. Whole small fish, skin-on fish, or fish bones used in cooking. In many traditional Asian and Mediterranean cuisines, fish is consumed with the skin intact, and sometimes with small bones included, particularly in dishes like sardines, anchovies, or whole mackerel. The skin of fish is rich in type 1 collagen, the same type found in human skin. According to research published in Marine Drugs, fish collagen has a lower molecular weight than mammalian collagen, which some studies suggest may enhance bioavailability and absorption. The bones of small fish, when consumed or cooked into broth, provide calcium in a highly absorbable form, along with collagen from the cartilage and connective tissue. Now, I understand that eating fish skin or small bones is unfamiliar to many Western palates. So let me give you practical options that don't require a radical dietary shift. Option 1. Buy skin-on fish fillets like salmon, cod, or sea bass. Instead of removing the skin before cooking, leave it on and crisp it properly. When fish skin is cooked until crispy, it becomes delicious and provides concentrated collagen. A 4-ounce serving of salmon with skin can provide approximately 2 to 3 grams of collagen. Option 2. Incorporate canned sardines or anchovies into your diet. These are typically eaten whole, including the small, soft bones, which have been pressure cooked during canning until they're completely edible. Just 3 ounces of sardines provides about 23 grams of protein, calcium equivalent to a glass of milk, and meaningful amounts of collagen from the skin and connective tissue. Option 3, and this is the one I find most practical for regular use. Make fish bone broth. Ask your fishmonger for fish frames, which are the heads and skeletons left after filleting. These are usually very inexpensive or sometimes free. Fish frames are loaded with collagen-rich cartilage and connective tissue. To make fish broth, rinse the frames thoroughly under cold water, removing any blood or organs. Place them in a pot with cold water. Add a splash of white wine or lemon juice, some aromatics like onion, celery, and fresh herbs, and bring to a very gentle simmer. Fish broth cooks much faster than beef or chicken broth. 45 minutes to 1 hour is typically sufficient. Strain out the solids and you'll have a light, flavorful broth rich in collagen and minerals. Use it as a base for seafood soups, cook grains in it, or simply sip it warm with a bit of sea salt and fresh herbs. Critical safety warnings for fish-based collagen sources. First, fish is one of the top 8 allergens. If you have a known fish allergy, obviously none of these options are appropriate for you. Second, certain fish, particularly large predatory species like tuna, swordfish, and king mackerel, can accumulate mercury and other heavy metals. For regular collagen purposes, stick with smaller fish like sardines, anchovies, salmon, cod, and mackerel, which have lower contaminant levels. Third, if you take blood-thinning medications, be aware that fish high in omega-3 fatty acids can have mild anticoagulant effects. This is generally beneficial, but discuss with your doctor if you're on warfarin or other anticoagulants. Fourth, fish bones, even when softened, can pose a choking hazard for individuals with swallowing difficulties. If you have dysphagia, stick with boneless fish and use fish broth instead. And finally, some canned fish products are very high in sodium. Choose low-sodium varieties when available and monitor your total daily sodium intake. Now, let's bring this all together and talk about what these 3 foods have in common and why they may work differently than supplements. All 3, oxtail, bone broth, and fish with skin, provide collagen in its whole food form, meaning the amino acids come packaged with cofactors that support absorption and utilization. Vitamin C, for instance, is essential for collagen synthesis in your body. When you consume these collagen-rich foods alongside vegetables and fruits, you're creating what researchers call nutritional synergy. Research in the Journal of Cosmetic Dermatology found that collagen supplementation combined with vitamin C showed more significant improvements in skin elasticity than collagen alone. The same principle applies to food sources. These whole food sources also provide minerals that isolated collagen powders typically lack. Calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, and trace minerals all play roles in connective tissue health. They come in ratios that nature designed, not ratios engineered in a laboratory. Does that mean they're automatically better? Not necessarily. It means they're different. And for many people, particularly older adults with compromised digestion or multiple nutrient deficiencies, that difference may be meaningful. One advantage these foods have is cost. A month's supply of quality collagen powder can range from $30 to $60 or more. The same amount of nutrition from oxtail, bones for broth, and sardines typically costs significantly less, especially if you're already buying these items for other nutritional reasons. But let's be honest about the limitations as well. Whole food collagen sources require preparation time. They require some cooking knowledge. They're not as convenient as scooping powder into your morning coffee. And for people with very specific dietary restrictions, allergies, or medical conditions, they may not be practical at all. This is why I'm not suggesting you throw out your collagen supplements. I'm suggesting you consider whether adding food-based sources might complement or even replace some of what you're currently using. The research on collagen supplementation is mixed. Some studies, like those published in the Journal of Medicinal Food, show modest improvements in skin hydration and elasticity with consistent use over 12 weeks or longer. Other studies show minimal effect. Individual response varies enormously. What we do know is that traditional diets across cultures included these collagen-rich foods regularly, and those populations didn't have access to peptide powders. That doesn't prove causation, but it does suggest we may have discarded useful nutritional wisdom in favor of convenience. So why don't we hear more about food-based collagen sources in mainstream health discussions? There are several reasons, and understanding them helps you evaluate nutrition information more critically. First, whole foods can't be patented. There's no financial incentive for large-scale marketing campaigns promoting oxtail or fish frames. Supplements, on the other hand, can be branded, marketed, and sold at significant profit margins. Second, these foods require education. You can't just hand someone a bag of bones and expect them to know what to do with it. That's a barrier to widespread adoption. Third, modern Western diets have shifted dramatically away from nose-to-tail eating. Using the entire animal, including bones, skin, and connective tissue, was once standard practice. Now it's considered unusual or even unpleasant by many people. Fourth, research funding tends to follow commercial interest. Studies on proprietary collagen supplements are funded by companies that profit from positive results. Studies on oxtail or fish skin have no commercial sponsor, so they're rarely conducted. This creates a publication bias where the supplement literature vastly outweighs the whole food literature, even though humans have been consuming collagen-rich foods for far longer than supplements have existed. And fifth, these foods don't fit the quick fix narrative that dominates health marketing. They require time, some skill, and patience. There's no dramatic before and after photo from eating bone broth for 2 weeks. The benefits, if they exist, accumulate slowly over months and years. That doesn't sell products or generate clicks, but it may be closer to how nutrition actually works. Let's talk about how to actually implement this information if you decide it's relevant for your situation. I recommend starting with whichever option feels most approachable to you. If you already enjoy soup, bone broth is a natural entry point. Make a large batch once a week, freeze it in portions, and use it as the base for soups, stews, or simply warmed with a little salt and pepper as a between-meal drink. If you're comfortable with richer foods and your digestion handles fat well, oxtail cooked in a slow cooker is remarkably easy. You can start it in the morning and come home to tender, falling-apart meat in rich broth. If you prefer lighter options or eat fish regularly anyway, simply stop removing the skin from your fish and look for canned sardines or anchovies you enjoy. Bernard Kowalski, 68, has type 2 diabetes and was concerned about blood sugar spikes. When he started incorporating bone broth into his morning routine, instead of a carbohydrate-heavy breakfast, he noticed his glucose readings stayed more stable throughout the morning. The protein and gelatin in the broth slowed digestion and provided steady amino acid release without the blood sugar surge. For people managing their weight, these protein-dense collagen foods are highly satiating. A cup of bone broth or a small serving of oxtail can reduce overall calorie intake by increasing fullness. Rita Patel, 74, has limited mobility and arthritis in her hands. Preparing these foods was initially challenging. She asked her daughter to help set up a slow cooker once a week, and now she makes large batches that last several days with minimal daily intervention. One pattern I encourage is this. Choose one collagen-rich food to incorporate twice a week initially. That's manageable and gives your body time to adapt. After a month, if you're tolerating it well and enjoying the food, add a second option. The goal is not perfection. The goal is consistent, long-term consumption of nutrients your body may need more of as you age. Track how you feel, not obsessively, but generally. Do your joints feel different after 3 months? Does your skin seem more resilient? Are your nails stronger? These are subjective measures, but they're yours, and they matter. Keep in mind that collagen effects, whether from food or supplements, are gradual. Most research showing benefits looks at consumption over 8 to 12 weeks minimum. Don't expect overnight transformation. From this video, you've learned about 3 practical, affordable food sources of collagen: oxtail, traditional bone broth, and fish skin or whole fish. You now understand what each provides, how to prepare them safely, and what they realistically can and can't do. This isn't a miracle cure, but useful information to help you make smarter nutrition choices as you age. Supplements can be helpful, but traditional foods may offer a simpler, overlooked option. Food-based collagen won't reverse aging, but over time it may support the connective tissue you still have, and that matters. Here are a few simple action steps you can take today. First, visit your local butcher or Asian market and ask about oxtail, soup bones, or fish frames. Many are inexpensive and easy to find if you ask. Second, if you use collagen supplements, compare the protein per serving with what you'd get from homemade bone broth or oxtail. Food often delivers more for less. Third, pick just one recipe to try this week. Make bone broth, braise oxtail, or cook salmon skin until crispy, and see how you feel. Fourth, if you have conditions like kidney disease, gout, blood clotting issues, fish allergies, or take multiple medications, discuss this with your doctor or dietitian. This video is educational, not personal medical advice. And finally, leave a comment sharing which of these foods you're most likely to try, or your experience if you already eat them. Your input could help someone else get started. If you found this video valuable, make sure you're subscribed to this channel, because next week I'm covering a topic that pairs perfectly with what we discussed today: the 5 most common nutrient deficiencies in adults over 60 that almost never get tested, and the simple, inexpensive foods that address each one. It's information your doctor probably won't bring up unless you ask specifically, and it could explain symptoms you've been dismissing as just normal aging. That video goes live next Sunday, and you're not going to want to miss it. Until then, thank you for investing this time in your health education. The fact that you watched this entire video tells me you're someone who values understanding the why behind nutritional recommendations, not just following trends. That's exactly the kind of informed approach that leads to lasting health improvements.